Let's talk about goals. Like what goals do you have with certain people?
So my goals are to empower women with their finances. So I work with everyone, but I do have a niche of women.
Mm-hmm.
And that encompasses a variety of things. I do seminars, I do workshops where we can talk about a variety of subjects. So sometimes that might be, how do I create tax-free retirement? Actually, using that Index Universal Life that I talked about, we create something called a private reserve account. And it is possible to have tax-free retirement. Everyone wants to know about that. It sounds too good to be true, but it is true, and it's awesome. And so, beyond the fact that women many times are kind of left behind in the financial world, our retirement is a little bit different than men's retirement for a couple of reasons. The first one being women raise children, so many times they take a break for that. Unfortunately, we traditionally make less than men. And then when our parents get older, we become caregivers as well. And so sometimes there's another second gap that occurs in life with working. And so it's very important that our growth in our retirement plan is as much as it can be, that it's max funded. And so more importantly than everyone, I mean, everyone should do that. But for women, it's very, very important that we get started as early as possible on the right track so that we can make up for those certain things that happen in life. So my goal is to help as many women as possible. And I meet a lot of very successful women that, again, don't really know what is the best option. They hear everyone has a 401k, so maybe that's what I should do. It's a very antiquated way of creating retirement. So I enjoy really setting things up the proper way.
So a lot of companies, not everybody, but there's a lot of companies out there that offer 401ks.
Mm-hmm.
401ks usually are pre-taxed.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have, $500,000 in their account, and they're like, oh yeah, I got $500,000. But what happens? I'll just ask you the question: what happens when you borrow against it, or what happens when it comes to that time to retire, and you have a 401k?
So yeah, a lot of things that people are not aware of. So a 401k, they allow you to put money in there tax deferred, which means, oh yay, I'm not getting taxed on this money, I'm putting it away in this account. However, at some point you have to pay taxes. We don't get away from paying taxes at all. So the problem is that when you go to retire, they say, well, you know what, we have not taxed the seed that you've put in there every month, year after year after year. But now that you have this nice lump sum of money, we're going to take all the taxes out at one time. So depending on your tax bracket at the time, you could be anywhere between 30 and 50% of your money can be gone. So that little example that you gave of having $500,000 in your 401k, now you could have $250,000.
And then you got to go back to work.
That's a big difference. The other disadvantage with them is that you can't really touch them until you're 59 and a half. If you ever did before then, there are penalties and fees. So I recently talked to someone that wanted $25,000 out of her 401k. After she paid taxes and fees and all of that, she ended up with $18,000. So that wasn't even the amount she really needed. So now she paid all this taxes and fees, and she still didn't have enough to do what she needed to accomplish. Mm-hmm. So it would be far greater if we could create a account post-tax, after we've paid taxes on it, put it in there, and be able to have access to it when we needed it for whatever we needed it for. And that way, when we pulled it out, it would be tax-free. And that's what we're able to create with a private reserve account.
Okay, so you may have a 401k, but this is more about diversifying. So, so how many different accounts should you have? Like, say if you have a 401k at work, you should have a life insurance policy, preferably at least a whole life policy. Mm-hmm. Now, should you look into more than that, or?
So yeah, I mean, the more accounts you have, the better. What we always say is, if your employer is matching your 401k, then put in what they're matching. So if they're matching 4%, go ahead and put 4% in there, because that's free money. Mm-hmm. Anything over and above that, which if you're really going to have a decent retirement, you should be putting in more than that. You should be putting it in your private reserve account. And now that's the account that we're talking about. It's not whole life, it's Index Universal Life.
Okay.
And so you should be putting that in there. So if you, let's say, as a scenario, you have an employer that's matching 4%, you're putting 4% in that 401k, and let's say your goal is you want to be putting at least 10% away for retirement. So we would take that remaining 6% and put it in your private reserve account. What that private reserve account is going to do is it's going to create that tax-free retirement for you, but it's also going to provide you with the life insurance coverage that you need, whatever that amount is, whatever we come up with that is good for your situation. And it also would give you living benefits. So now you would be able to tap into money if something unavoidable happened. So you'd have that going on. Really, if you're max funding those, that's really all you need for your retirement. But the more that you can diversify, the better. We also have something called land banking, and it's the ability to own real estate within your retirement plan. So land is something that there's a limited supply of. It's the oldest form of investing available, and we do that in the Palmdale area, Palmdale, Lancaster area. So it's an opportunity to own a piece of California. There's a limited supply. It's titled and deeded. It's a tangible investment. It's not something in some bank somewhere that you don't know where it's at, and it's going up and down. You have no control over it. So that's another way to diversify. But it's a good type of an account to have as well.
So the good thing with Lancaster or Palmdale is it's close to LA. Bad thing is the desert, high desert. Yeah. So.
Well, and there's a lot of solar initiatives going on.
Yeah.
The other really cool thing is that in 2028, the Olympics are coming to Los Angeles again.
Oh.
And so where we're land banking is about an hour and a half from where the venue will be.
Oh, okay.
So we know that area is just going to be blooming.
It always is. Yeah,
yes.
it's a good place to. Especially if it's affordable now. It's one of those things you'd rather get into and not kick yourself later.
Exactly.